No, no. Well, 2020, I wasn't really one way or the other. 2024, I was pretty adamantly against him. Not that I was pro Kamala Harris. I thought she would be a disaster as well. Um, but I was almost more on her side because I felt like people would follow her less.
Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the channel, fam. Hope your day's going amazing and you're ready for something that's going to have you shaking your head the whole way through. Today we're jumping into a conversation between Dan Bilzerian, yes, that Dan Bilzerian, the Instagram megastar turned congressional candidate, and Kim Iverson. And listen, this isn't just another political chat. Dan goes in on the MAGA movement, admits he was fooled, calls out the Iran.
Dan, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Okay, you're running for Congress. Why would you want to do something like this?
Well, I don't really want to. I just feel like everybody's pissed off. Everybody's talking about these things. Everybody knows what's going on, and there's not really a solution, barring some kind of a violent revolution, which I don't think, given our men's testosterone levels, is a realistic thing. And so I feel like we have to give it a try to, take it over traditionally. And yeah, I just don't see anybody else stepping up. I wish there was. I wish I didn't have to do it.
So you're running as a Republican against Randy. What has been the reaction?
Extremely positive. So we kind of announced the TMZ hit piece, and the bulk of it was them trying to pin me down as an anti-Semite. And it was like 95% of the comments were positive on all 5 of their platforms. So I think that was pretty telling. But I kind of knew when I did the Piers Morgan interview 2 years ago, and this was when it was like really taboo to talk about this stuff. And his entire comment section was positive. And so I was really surprised at how much people know. And I think the longer they know and the more they can't say anything, the more frustrated they get. And I think there's a huge undercurrent in America that wants change and is tired of putting a foreign nation before America. We got sold a bill of goods with the MAGA movement. And I think everybody's just really frustrated right now. So hopefully this will have a positive effect.
You supported Donald Trump, at least in 2016. Did you support him in the other 2 elections, 2020 and 24?
No. Well, 2020, I wasn't really one way or the other. 2024, I was pretty adamantly against him. Not that I was pro Kamala Harris. I thought she would be a disaster as well. But I was almost more on her side because I felt like people would follow her less. I felt like Trump had this cult blind allegiance following that would just follow him into a war with Iran. I predicted it happening before the election 2024, and sure enough, here we are. Yeah, he's just been an absolute disappointment. And the biggest thing for me that pissed me off is his lack of honesty. And I think that's a big thing with politicians. That's one of the things I'd like to change the most, more than anything else, is having some real accountability, because people they just say whatever the fuck is going to get them into office, and then they go in there and then they do whatever they want for themselves or for their donors, and they just have no allegiance to the truth. They have no allegiance to their audience, fan base, whoever got them elected. And it's really ridiculous, and there's no repercussions. Like, to me, that's fraud. Like, if you say you're going to do one thing and then you go into office and rug pull people, I don't know why that's not considered fraud. I just think there needs to be accountability across the board. Like, the media shouldn't be able to knowingly publish false information. And I actually think the fact that they put so much, in his words, fake news out about Trump, I think that's actually really helping him now, because there was so much nonsense published about him that his fan base just got used to, like, oh, it's fake news. It's fake news. Any criticism there, it's Trump derangement syndrome. They're a liberal. It's kind of almost like exactly what the left does. The left is like anti-Semite, Nazi. They have all these stupid keywords and they just shut down in debates, right? They don't debate with facts. It's just ad hom attacks. It's, it's you're a Nazi. You're a white supremacist. You're an anti-Semite. They just have all these words, the Holocaust, Nazi, blah, blah, blah. And they don't debate. And you see that now with Trump's side. It's like, oh, any criticism of Trump, Trump derangement syndrome, you're a liberal, you're just a pussy, blah, blah, blah. And it makes it difficult to have a real conversation when people reply like that.
Okay, listen. This is the moment that should have every single person who once believed in the MAGA promise sitting up in their chair. Because when Dan said there's a huge undercurrent in America that wants change and is tired of putting a foreign nation before America, that wasn't just political commentary. That was a signal. That was the sound of the curtain being pulled back on one of the biggest political letdowns of the last decade. And here's what people don't.
Yeah. I think you make a really great point about Congress being fraudulent. And I'd never really thought of it that way before, but it is. I mean, they run on a certain platform, they get elected, they take our money. I mean, that's their paycheck. And then they don't do what they were elected to do. You're right. I think that is fraud. And maybe America can actually make cases against them and actually sue them in court or something. I mean, something's got to give on that front.
Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to serve the country and they're serving themselves. That's the crux of the issue. They are supposed to be serving the country, doing what's in the best interest of the country and the people, and they're not. They're just focused on what is best for them personally. And you see that. They come out of office, with hundreds of millions of dollars on a $200,000 salary.
Yeah. What are you going to do about your dual citizenship? Both parties want you to believe they're working for the people, but let's be honest. Washington is bought and paid for. Big corporations in Wall Street get bailed out while working Americans get left with higher prices, shrinking savings, and endless promises that never materialize. The system is corrupt, and when it breaks, they won't be the ones paying the price. We will. That's why I put my trust in something outside of their control. Physical gold and silver from American Hartford Gold. Precious metals are real, tangible, and they've held their value through every economic collapse in history. You can have them delivered straight to your home or secured in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. American Hartford Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of 5-star reviews. And right now, when you call and mention my name, Kim, you can get up to $15,000 in free silver with your purchase. So call 866-584-3884 or text Kim to 65532. That's 866-584-3884 or text Kim, K-I-M, to 65532. Don't wait for politicians to fix a system they benefit from. Protect yourself today.
I actually don't have dual citizenship. I have 3 citizenships, and they're not really important. I mean, St. Kitts, it's just, Armenia, those are passports that get me into other countries without a visa. So it's more of a travel thing, but I don't care. I mean, if we can pass laws that say you have to have only U.S. citizenship to be in U.S. office, I'm completely behind that. My big issue is that any Jewish person can immediately get Israeli citizenship same day just because they're Jewish. So even if they don't hold the passport at that given time, they could have it later that day. They could have it tomorrow. And so I think if you're going to actually pass those laws, which I'm totally fine with, I don't care. I mean, I think I've used my other passports maybe once or twice. And I recently got them. It's not like I was born in Armenia or have, any like allegiance to that country over America. Armenia doesn't shape our foreign policy. They don't get aid. It's just like, it's a non-thought, and St. Kitts, a tiny little country place in the Caribbean. And basically they don't have any, corporate income tax. So there's like some benefit there, but it's not like I would ever be putting a foreign nation before America. The problem is Israel. That is the country that gets this special preferential treatment. We're giving them all this money. They do nothing for us. They never send us troops. They sell our secrets. I mean, they've been taking advantage of us, since their inception.